control keeps falling off.
Lee. So a truck driver is driving on the highway, and he sees this guy hitchhiking. So he pulls over, does the right thing, picks him up. A couple miles on the road.
I don't think you should pick up a hitchhiker.
Well,
That's dangerous.
Only if you're looking for company.
Well, okay, I guess.
What's more dangerous,
very
being
lonely
alone when
man.
you could suffer some sort of a heart attack or fatal injury?
I guess they could get you medical attention.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they're having a conversation as they go down the road. A little small talk. The hitchhiker says, I gotta ask you a question. Why'd you pick me up? You know, I could have been a psychopath. And he goes, very simple. He's like, what are the odds that two people in the same car are psychopaths?
I don't know how to react to that. So
Well, he murdered the shit out of him shortly after
what?
that.
Oh.
All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie The Hitcher. ...2007's The Hitcher. Had you seen it before, Lee?
I had at the time, perhaps in 2007.
I would imagine that would be the time to do it.
Ish, you know, yeah.
So you have fond memories or poor memories of this movie?
Somewhat fond memories. I don't remember like loving it. I don't remember hating it. I remember it containing a music video for the song "Move Along" in the beginning, and that stuck with me. And I think that was my main talking point about the movie.
Okay.
I didn't really get into too much of the other stuff, and I'd since forgotten mostly about it.
The part that jumps out for me, as I've also seen this, is a Black Trans Am style music video of like a Prodigy song, I want to say.
Nine Inch Nails is closer.
Nine Inch Nails.
I had forgotten about that other music video.
Yes.
That's in this movie.
And that was the part that jumped out at me and stuck with me for these years.
Yeah.
And that's that alone, I think, was something I'd be like, I recommend this movie.
Fun fact, directed by a guy with 184 credits to his name because he does music videos.
Yeah.
And literally did a bunch that you would know, including one of the most recent ones that I knew, Billie Eilish's Bad Guy. Like literally a prolific artist who makes good music videos.
That seems like a weird thing that is often happening, where you have these music video guys go into horror movies, and I don't know if you cut your teeth doing that and then you go to this.
I think people are like, this is visual, this is punchy, I like your style, whatever. This is produced by Michael Bay, which when you view it through that lens too, you're kind of like, well, yes.
Yeah, his name appears more than once in the credits, and you're like, yes, that's why there are explosions.
He put his stamp on it, do it like this, whatever, yes. I don't know if he had hands on in any way making it, but he literally was like, I approve of this, or something. Or bankrolled it, or made it happen in something. Because I didn't know this was a remake either. All the comments on the internet say the original was better, and I've never seen or heard of the original.
Rucker Hauer is the original, I believe.
Maybe it is
Sean
better.
Bean reprises his role.
Hell yes.
If you ask Rucker himself, he says, I did not see this movie. I was told I don't have to.
The remake?
Yeah. They offered him a part in this, like a cameo,
Yeah.
and he I guess, read the script and said, nope.
Well, yeah. So people said the original was better. The remake ruins it. There's nothing good about the original in the remake. And I'm like, this means nothing to me. Whatever. The movie's rated decently for audiences, and badly for critics.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. Again, at the time, I don't remember feeling good or bad about liking it or not liking it. I don't think I loved it that much. I think I was just like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And moving on with my life.
To me, I always would have cited this as a horror movie, but it's I think listed as a crime thriller, and I'm like, I understand that too, but there's definitely horrific elements of this where it's kind of a mix for me of Joyride and Jeepers Creepers or something. It has those kind of things in there.
Definitely Joyride. It has a slasher vibe to me.
Yeah.
Which is obviously in the horror thing, but it's not like Jeepers Creepers. I'm like, oh, that's obviously horror because of all the goop that happens, right? But here it's just people and stuff, so it has that more thrillery aspect,
Yeah.
But almost like a revenge story too, without spoiling anything.
Kind of.
Right. You have kind of a spit on your grave sort of thing happening, some sort of overtones, undertones, whatever, but
cranked the different direction.
And overall, right, what are your thoughts? Would you recommend this movie?
I think this is something you could totally watch. I think it's better in a group. It's not a fantastic movie, but it is a fun movie. And I think that's where my recommendation would come from.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for movies that kind of feel like music videos anyway, and I think I like it kind of for what it is. It is not a great film, and we will lovingly discuss that in the spoilers.
I like Sophia Bush. I think she's a good leading lady in this. Oh, she's been in a lot of things that are not as good. She was in that Frankie Muniz video
Boy?
game dead
thing.
Good.
Okay.
No, not that.
Stay Alive.
Stay Alive, yeah. And then she was in One Tree Hill as like a main character.
I saw that on her IMDb.
Show.
Like
and then
100-something
the leading guy, I've seen him in things, but kind of, I'm like, what are you, the love child of Shaggy and Theo Vaughn? Like you're not a name that draws me.
I may have the wrong name then, but like in my head, I didn't like either of the kids. I like Sean Bean, and I was like, who is this fake Steve Zahn and fake Eliza Dushku trying to be in a movie? You guys suck. Get out of here. And I was like, Sean Bean's the man. Like,
Sean Bean is the man.
Yeah, like he's been, he's everywhere. He goes without saying. But I was actually kind of struck by how he was in this, where I was like, oh, you're actually good in this. Wait, this is
he's good.
So like,
short hair Bean,
the highlight.
Bean.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we're gonna head over to spoilers. If you've seen this or don't care, follow us over there, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video, and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of The Hitcher. So let me hear your spoiler-filled thoughts.
Yeah, like I remember being like, this is good actually. Why I was afraid this wouldn't be good. And then by the end I'm like, okay, this is kind of not good. But there are like sections in it where I'm like, oh, that was good. And then once I did my research of like, oh, this is a music video guy. So like he was just like, we're gonna make this section good. And it's like, how do they get from there? I don't care. They drive and then like he's there, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like the script doesn't have any like there's never like a cutaway to an interesting thing that tells us like it's just this boom like
thing. It also just kind of degrades into like how'd to end it? Like there's not really a solid thing here. The idea that your main protagonist it just gets killed off in like the dumbest way possible.
Like, at the start of the third act?
Yeah.
Kind of.
And the way he gets killed is such a dumb thing. He's hooked up between the trailer and the cab of an 18-wheeler, and he's bound with chains. And the guy like just does these subtle jerking motions like, oh, you better do what I say. Oh, I'm going to kill him. Any of those slight jerking motions would cause irreparable damage to that man. And the idea that eventually when he does just go like, fuck you then, and just drive away, and the guy bursts from the inside out like... That's not what would happen. Your soft pieces like your hands would rip off.
This is not a documentary.
We'll demonstrate on Lee later.
This is not a documentary. What happened
was... It's not!
What happened was the coolest thing that could happen, which is it bursts in half. Like two people are fighting over like a bag of flour on like a sitcom and just boof and the faces are covered.
I think it would have been much more powerful for like his hands rip off and be dragged.
I would have liked his...
Or, I don't know, any actual point A to point B of like, it just faded out with a nice transition, mind you, to the doctor's thing, but like... What did the police do? It took him alive? Wasn't this whole thing that he wanted to die? Like, that could have been a great death by cop ending. So, I don't understand what we were meant to believe there. Did he have cancer? Why does he want to die? Did his family die in a horrible accident? Can we get some backstory?
You're laying down a lot of stuff that we have to unpack in a very methodical manner, and I've already forgotten what the first thing you said was. I would have liked his, like, shoulder to get dislocated or something, because, to your point, it seems like he's, like, Steve Rogers, like, holding it for a while and then can't anymore and dies. It's like, very crazy. I love Sean Bean's performance when he's just like you're fucking useless, and then like
you useless waste.
So to me, that is, you're fucking useless. Yeah. I wanted to die. You're not even good enough to kill me.
Yes.
Your boyfriend's going to die because then the cops will shoot me.
Exactly.
But that doesn't happen.
Right, and like the movie is not like actually a movie. And I don't care if they didn't think about what's realistic. I care about like, then we just warp to the police station.
It's like a TV show when it just cuts to like to commercial and comes back and something else is happening. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. We're in New Mexico. They will shoot you for fucking anything. and you just killed a dude in front of them. You've killed multiple cops. Like, this is time to die.
At this point, it's personal, right? So you always think something's happening. Now, once he's in his like prison cell, holding cell, right? He's like scrawled things on the wall, maybe, or like were those already there?
I assume he did that somehow,
I supposed to believe?
But I don't know how he would have.
Because one of them is like, I'm on the edge of like a waking dream nightmare to trying to wake up, or some weird poetic thing. To your point, I was waiting the whole time. We had the wedding ring set up, right? Where he's like, oh, like your wife, and he's like, I don't have a wife, right?
How long you been fucking your wife?
I don't have one.
I was like, oh, his wife died, and then he went crazy, right? His name is John Ryder, which I'm like, oh, what a fun version of John Smith for like a vehicular superhero, supervillain to use. And then they're like, no, there was a real guy named John Ryder who like this guy killed.
Bruce, you know who this man is? That's the real John Ryder. He's been missing since Tuesday.
And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing in the world.
That was the director, I think.
It was like a little cameo?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I also, when I first heard it, thought his name was John Ritter, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But it's not.
But like, John Ryder's amazing.
Sure.
As like a dumb name in like a dumb movie where the action scenes look like Resident Evil or something, right? To be like,
yes, they do.
Yeah, hey, John Ryder, right? And he, by the way, is a supervillain of the same like classification or species as the cast of Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, yeah,
where he literally gets power by interfacing with vehicles in some weird paranormal way.
Where did he even get some of that? Like, where'd the Trans Am come from? It seemed like he was like fully equipped with stuff. Like at one point, like I know he stole some guns from the police station because you see like a cabinet that was broken, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Right. I had a memory which didn't end up being true to the movie, where I thought that he killed that helicopter with a bazooka. I thought it was like do and like kills all those cars and like
yeah. But that's almost more fun, but like less Michael Bay, because he kills it. He may as well have thrown his gun at it. He just has a handgun. He takes out like 3 cop cars and a helicopter with a handgun and like a cool looking car.
Very cool,
right? I know the car is cool, but that doesn't help him actually destroy any of these vehicles. It's insane.
I think you'll find that coolness is definitely a factor, because while someone would normally be shooting back at you if you were, say, driving a Civic, when they see that classic Trans Am, they're like, oh, that T-top, and they pause for a moment.
Right.
And that moment is all you need to shoot them in the brain.
It's like having a hostage. They're like too afraid of hitting the
car,
where they can't take aim at him.
It's true.
No, that whole scene is crazy. It's cool. The music is cool.
It's very cool.
Visually, it like looks cool. The whole way it plays out. When they're cop car that's like beat to shit, like grinds to a halt. It's like sparking and smoking and like dying. I was like, this is actually great.
It was sparking from every tire when only one was shot out.
Exactly.
I thought it also very interesting, the shootout of the tire in the first place. The cops are like aiming for his head. Slow him down. I don't care what I guess he means shoot him in the head, which is all the more interesting later when they do not shoot to kill Sean Bean. You're like, what, are you kidding me?
I think Michael Bay was on set that day and said, more sparks. They're not going to get it. More sparks. Can you just bring all the spark? No, the whole thing, the whole setup.
Why was that helicopter flying so low?
So that Sean Bean could shoot it with a handgun.
No, before that, they're like, their car driving down the highway almost hits the helicopter. Because it's so low over the hill, and then when it's following, it's like in pace with the cars. It's like 7 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason. It's there to like make sure it doesn't lose it. Like, and I'm like, okay, why are you right there? You're just a problem.
You just want movies to be real life.
I would just like something, because it seems like they filmed that. I'm sure that wasn't a CG helicopter. It's dangerous for no reason, just because it looks cool.
No, they're like so rigid.
Like, people have died in helicopter accidents in movies before.
Like, we need the helicopter closer. This shot's amazing.
Yeah.
Put the heat waves on the road. We need to fucking go. I was expecting for that. It's a Trans Am, you're saying? Yes. I am the not car guy here. I just think cars are these ugly things that people use to transport themselves in like groceries or whatever. I like literally had like a mental flash. I think it's because of the Michael Bay thing, where Sean Bean was gonna like hologram out and like the Trans Am was gonna transform into a Decepticon and like start chasing them on foot. It was like that type of vibe in that scene.
Yeah.
Which I love, okay?
No, I'm down for all of the action sequences. Yes. There are some that are off-screen action sequences that I'm very actually surprised that happened. Like when he breaks into the police station and kills the cop and another guy, and there's like a dog that doesn't get killed for whatever reason.
Can't kill a dog, man.
I guess. In my head, when you saw a dog walk past, I was like, that's gonna be another count of murder, because those are actual cops, those police dogs. But he lived. But that's a surprising shot that you didn't see him kill these people. And another surprising fucking weird thing about that is he like draws a weird little face around Sophia Bush's head. And I'm like, okay. And then for some reason to like that, what is he, like a Texas Marshal? Whatever the fuck that guy is, the one that's usually evil, like younger version of Udo Kier, like whatever that guy's name is.
I have implemented strict quarantine procedures and confined myself to quarters.
Also reminds me of the Sharknado/90210 guy.
Ian Ziering?
Yes.
Hey! West! No! That shotgun! I know you from... Look, you gotta get off the streets. There's giant spiders everywhere.
I'd love to help you, but I got shark problems right now.
I'll take it, but I won't like it.
It's like the coloring or something?
Yeah, like your head looks older than it should.
His name is Neil McDonough or something. Yeah. He was in that Al Pacino vehicle where Al Pacino's way too old to do it. That doesn't narrow it down, right? He's a character actor. I actually like him. And yeah, he's in
I like him too, but he's almost always an evil guy.
Yeah, and like his dialogue doesn't match what his body's doing, and he spends half the time in like one room on the phone just talking. Yeah. It's a weird role. It doesn't fit, but what were you saying?
So he walks in, he sees that, he goes, well, if that one was locked in the basement, and this one was in the interrogation, who did this?
The girl. She was interrogated inside here?
Yes, sir.
And who the hell did that?
And I'm like, that's somehow proof? I'm like, if you believe that the girl and the guy could have been the ones that killed these people, couldn't they have drawn that at any time? Why is that proof? It's true, and it's to foreshadow that you're somehow like, I'm a profiler, I know things. But you don't.
The close-up shots of his eyes, like looking around the room as he puts it together, is so I'm like, oh, this sucks so much. This movie sucks. I'm just like, oh, I love it so much. Like this is typical though in a movie of this, I'll say, caliber or like amount of screenplay care, because cops are always like, we found your prints at the scene, and I'm like, because there's only like physical space, there's no such thing as time. You couldn't have been there, but like not at the time the murder took place. Yeah. Like you visit there, like what are you talking about?
A couple of his setups were a little better, like when he shoots from the bus and kills a cop while she's aiming at the cop. Yes. I'm like, okay.
Mom, please just get in the car. Get in.
I'm like, but I think there'd be some sort of analysis where they'd be like, that's a high caliber fucking rifle bullet, and you're using a pistol, and there's no fucking, at that point, she had not shot a gun yet. So I'd be like, there's no residue on you. Yeah. Do we check for that in Texas? Oh, we just sprinkle crack on him and shoot him? Gotcha.
And it's
New Mexico.
Well, close enough. And that's the fucking East Coast fucking Yankees. You don't care about what state you're in. That's the vibe. And that's one of my issues, if I have to say that I have issues, is that the cops just fucking hate these kids. They're just like immediately, when they first show up, they're just like arresting them. And there's never like, I need a scene where someone's like, the cop says something about like, we don't like people from out of town coming through here, or like, oh, do you fancy yourselves like a Bonnie and Clyde? We're not going to stand for that. Like some sort of explanation for their motivation. He's just staring at her like, we're trying to help you, man, please. And she's like, I'm freaking out. Please, something's wrong or whatever. And they just do not care at all.
He's there holding a wound in the car when they come upon him.
Freeze! Let me see your hands. Get out of the car.
Like okay. Right. What? Yes, certain things here are definitely misdone, but I blame her for most of this, because she walks in and she's like, call the cops. I need towels.
What's going on?
Towels. I need towels.
Paper towels are in the bathroom.
Where's your bathroom?
It's over there.
Thank you.
Like under her breath almost. Like people in the booths don't even know what's happening. If I was being tracked by a murderer and people are dying or dead in the car I just showed up in, I'm walking in there going, cops! I need cops! We're fucking in the South. You got guns! I need guns at the door! There's a guy! He's in a pickup truck! Shit's going wild!
Exactly.
And you assume at least one of them has a gun, I hope.
And some of this could just be convenience, because she ends up kind of trapped in the bathroom because she sees the Hitcher's new car outside, right? But then, that's my second problem, is it gets ridiculous really quickly. I'll just briefly highlight the like opening, the actual first hitching that happens is great. The dialogue is great, the way the scene plays out. I'm not going to walk you through it, but how they kick him out of the car. Get out of my car! Fucking psycho fuck!
Yes.
Everything basically from him in the rain all the way through when he's like on the road waking up with their cell phone and stuff.
Yes.
You're like, damn, this is a movie. It looks good. It feels good. Very quickly, stuff becomes ridiculous and falls off the rails where I'm like, how is he finding them? How is he doing this?
There's probably only one major road that goes to that,
I know.
What did they say, like Susquehanna Falls or something.
Where you heading?
Lake Havasu, spring break.
He says, like, where are you headed or
Yeah.
something like that. So that's fine, and I can get over that. But at one point, he, like, throws a car at them from a cliff.
That's
like,
one of the best parts ever.
He is doing, like, a ridiculous amount of, like,
It is a
effort
car
here.
falling from a cliff jump scene.
Yes.
Yes, you can't beat that, because where is he to do that?
And it's a
you
jump
only get
scare.
one shot.
Yeah. It almost hits her. He almost does it. He's a vehicular superhero.
I'm not disagreeing.
He's a vehicumancer, whatever we're going to call this new thing. Yeah.
I do love, that whole beginning scene with him, like, just how it plays out with her lowering the volume on the thing.
That's a
and
great
hearing
detail.
what's happening.
Absolutely.
And him, breaking the cell phone with, oh no, I'm not married. This is what people think I'm trustworthy. And are you? Oh no. And I'm like, oh, this is great.
Hey, what the fuck are you doing, man?
All right, you know what? That's it. Ride's over, pal.
He turns
Sean
real
Bean
quick to be a crazy fucking person.
It's great.
I love that that gas
Smashing
station
that cell
is
phone.
that Southern style where it's a rental store also. They got the VHSs in the back. Ready
Oh,
to go.
God.
Yeah. Raining out there pretty hard, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even catch that. Damn.
That was a thing back in the day. Maybe still now, just in your areas that don't have the internet,
Haven't caught up,
like fast internet, still have that. But yeah, I love that shit. That was something you used to see. Not so much anymore.
But you have to bring them back to the middle of nowhere.
Well, people that live in that area. There's one gas station in that 30-mile period, and
Yes.
you'd come back. That'd be where you get your beer nuts. That's where you get your gas, get your actual beer to go with your beer nuts.
And Faces of Death 3 that you can go watch at your trailer park.
Yes.
That was very something.
Cancel him.
This is time to cancel me.
Got kicked in the eye, so I got a lazy eye and shit. I try to milk that son of a bitch. You can't milk a fucking donkey, though, you know what I'm saying?
So I'd say, at the end of the day, this is kind of like a story with a moral of, never do the right thing.
Never pick up a hitchhiker.
Never pick up a hitchhiker.
Never try to help a God-fearing family fight for their lives.
Why would you? Never try to warn people because you'll crash your car. And he had a beautiful car. Like that car, and it's hard to say exactly what condition it was in. And this is a little while ago, but that's I'd say between $40,000 and $70,000 car. And I forgot what it's an Oldsmobile. It's a what is it? It's a fucking number like the 244 or 344. Like that's a specific
808.
car. No, it is not a drum.
I thought so. I like the gas station guy being like, got yourself a real pussy wagon out there.
Yeah.
Just like, damn.
It's a badass fucking ride, man. Regular little pussy wagon, huh?
Well, that's a beautiful muscle car, and he fucking destroys it as he drives off that cliff. And I'm like, oh God!
I kind of hate that scene. That's what I mean. We have the first encounter that's dope, and the second encounter is they run themselves off the road by being dumb.
The 18-wheeler helped,
right?
but yes, it was.
No,
it
I
was
mean
a dumb thing.
they were the ones in.
They were
in
very
18-wheeler's
close to that
lane.
guy's car and screaming with the windows down. He should have heard them.
Yes.
So that's annoying. His car's probably pretty loud, but just the same. The only really good thing about that whole family death scene is when they're clearing out the car. There's a "Will I Go to Heaven" book covered in blood. Because they seem like a good Christian family.
I thought it was just an Easter egg or a whatever, but then when the dad, who looked a lot like John Malkovich to me, but was not John Malkovich.
No.
Let's just be clear.
That would be crazy if you had John Malkovich for 38 seconds of this movie.
Who barely has any lines, except that when he's dying, he starts to mutter some sort of prayer to himself or whatever, right? Makes that, kind of amps up that scene a little bit, because you get the weird angles of the...
Well, a good Christian soldier would be the one that picks up a hitchhiker. Yeah. He's in need.
Got taken advantage of.
Yeah.
This thing in the darkness. Which overwhelms me.
So why is Sean Bean hitchhiking and murdering people, though?
We don't know.
Because the real John Ryder died 2 weeks earlier, they say.
Yeah, he killed him, I presume.
And like assumed his identity? And is now acting as that guy to kill people? Because we really needed the wife dying of cancer after he gave his life in the service of the secret military program that injected him with serum. Like, whatever explains how he's able to take so much punishment and keep coming. I have no idea.
Now, I did not watch any of the commentary or behind the scenes on this time. I do recall watching some deleted scenes when the DVD first came out.
Oh, neat.
And the only one that jumps out at me is fixes an error in the movie. So, like, when they're in that hotel, they go to, like, I forget the numbers, like, say room 12 or something, and he goes in the window, lets him out, and then when she leaves, she comes out through room 11, and that's because the Hitcher had killed the people in the room next door and went through the party door or whatever.
Oh.
And, like, she went through there, sees the dead bodies, and escapes.
Okay, so just like a quick thing when she's running for her life to get out of there? Yeah. That's cool. That's how he got in and stuff. So, like, when they go to the hotel, I feel like the movie grinds to a halt.
Yeah. That's where the movie ends. Like, where it's not good anymore from that point on.
There you go.
She could have ended it really quick in the hotel room when she was in the bathroom holding the door shut with the gun in her hand.
I have a gun!
Instead of saying, I have a gun, shoot the fucking gun. Why do you care if he lives at this point? You should want him dead. It doesn't make any sense.
True.
Like, at all.
No.
And her boyfriend would still be alive.
She seems reluctant to commit murder, regardless of who she's murdering.
You know what's interesting, too? How this movie
happens.
opens, which gives me the comparison to Jeepers Creepers more, is that they feel like they're related when it first starts. Because when she, like, runs and gives him a hug and stuff, there's not, like, a kiss. There's not this emotional response.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, and, like, it's not until he says, like, babe later on that you're like, oh, okay, you're boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, it's such a weird relationship. Because how he calls, like, are you up yet? Blah, blah, it could be like, I've known you for years, you're my sister, fuck you, whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, nice pajamas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could have, that, like up until a certain point, especially when he's, like, making fun of, like, you have to pee again. It's kind of like, geez, mom and dad are going to be angry if we don't show up on time. It's going to be like that. Yeah.
And he even makes an awkward face, like, when she's changing in the car. Not that it's ever like a weird sexual thing. She's always in like the bra, but changing other things. Yeah. He's even like, and like you're like, okay, what is happening here?
Yes.
Very strange. It just made me think of that when I said like she could have saved her boyfriend from dying.
Because that gives me the opportunity to say, like, when I say that it's a music video to move along, I didn't time it, but I noticed before 2 minutes the song starts, and after 4 minutes the song is like going. And like they've massacred this song. They've cut parts out and like inserted the chorus into different parts. Someone like in the edit bay like spent time on this. This was important to them. And I find that to be so fascinating and strange. And even my very young self felt the same way, because that's what stuck with me about this whole movie was there's a freaking weird music video. It's like Michael Jackson's Thriller, but with a weird Hitcher movie and Move Along. It's insane. Because like the music drops out, they have dialogue, they do things, and the music kicks back in again.
It finishes on the radio.
Yeah. It's strange, and I like strange things, so I like it.
I do too.
You serious?
I just want to say real quick in my notes before I move on from the hotel, I have like they get to the hotel and the phone's not what they expected, so they just start crying and then take a shower.
That's that scene in too many movies where I'm like, there's no reason to believe he could ever find you now at this hotel.
Yes.
And I guess
it's crazy
if
that he
in
does.
any movie is it safe to have sexy shower time, I guess right now it is. Because usually it's like we're 10 feet in front of the guy and we're like, okay, should we pull over here? I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot?
Or like the dead body of the killer's right there, and then you're like, I love you, babe, and you do things,
So this is slightly forgivable, but just the same, it's like, know your audience. Like there's a killer still out there. Watch the door. Don't be doing stupid shit. And don't split up.
Yeah, and the movie several times pretends that like we're out of the woods now. Like after the first encounter, they start playing music. Like we're back on our journey, and I'm like, we all know you're not. Don't even play.
After the first encounter, I would be like, okay, that guy's gone. We kicked him out of the car.
Yes.
Like we are now miles ahead. Yes, he knows we were going, so I probably would have detoured.
But I'm watching a movie, so I know it's
happening. You know.
And again, this is just a matter of their like maturity level and like what's important to them as filmmakers.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, in the prison, just to justify like the cops hating them, even though they don't acknowledge this, they don't make anything out of this whole thing. When the boyfriend is in the cell, the way like how he's delivering his dialogue makes him sound like he might be like a creep. He starts saying like, "I was trying to help those people. I was trying to help those people." We're like, "Ooh, help them by like releasing them from their mortal bonds, and so they can go to heaven or some weird thing." Like he sounds like a super creep.
Hey, come on! I don't need to be down here, man. Hey, I was trying to help that family. I was trying to help them.
Sure.
But they don't indicate that in the movie. It's just for me to like, I'm like grasping for justifications for like, why are the cops like, you need to murder those kids immediately?
Yeah.
Show no quarter. Yeah.
Well, and then a minute later, like for their next, their next trick, that cop death is on them. So like, and a cop is the eyewitness to it. So like, yes, we're shooting to kill. Fuck you.
Right.
And that's fine. But we do now we are believed that our bad guy is in custody. The boyfriend is dead. Our girl is getting sent to Albuquerque for like trauma fucking whatever.
Taking you to Albuquerque for trauma support. I can release you to your parents there.
I don't know.
We need to go to some major city to get counseling. By the way, we're going to carpool in like a caravan with this vicious, superpowered murderer.
Yes. Who they gave him like, they're like, all right, who are our weakest, closest to retirement guards?
Go to the mall and get one of those big customized teddy bears.
A customized teddy bear? Come on.
Yeah. They're going to be with you. Okay, cool?
Yeah.
We'll put one in the background. He's going to be like looking at you really goofy.
Literally, this cop looks like he's the one who makes the PowerPoint. You know, when Dexter...
He has a red stapler, I'm sure.
Yeah, like Dexter and everyone like, hey guys, here's the status of the case. And they get into a room with a projector and it's dim and they show the shit. That's the guy who made that PowerPoint on the police force, right? Yeah.
And he is the guard. There's two in the front, one in the back, which I'm like, I don't think that's how it goes. For this type of thing, especially.
This guy should be labeled as like extra dangerous.
Yeah,
right?
And like your leg shackled and stuff. I would feel like you would just separate his hands entirely and just chain them to two different parts. Like, why even give him
like he's waiting for King Kong to come get a snack?
And he does his whole like dislocate the thumb, like cut the wrist a little bit so you can lube blood it out, and he escapes.
Stop moving.
What the fuck?
Uses that thing as a fucking knife, slashes this dude's throat, shoots people in the fucking head.
This is an okay scene. We are back to, like, the movie's definitely not good at all anymore. But some of these moments...
This part is okay.
Sean Bean's face, mostly, is just...
Yeah, it's like nothing's happening.
Yeah, it's like cutting back and forth, and he's just kind of making this awesome... Something about his face. He has lines on his face that he shouldn't have.
He's a great actor with a great face.
He's a face actor.
But everything that's not that scene from the hotel on is really shitty.
Yeah.
And like, it just capitalizes with this part here where like he crashes it, this and that. Like I'm like, okay, even if he did escape his handcuffs, kill these guys, flip the car, she like goes and opens the fucking door. You'd be trapped in there. It's a fucking crossbar bolt. You can't open it from the inside. He was totally subdued in there. But what did you do? You took U.S. Texas Marshal fucking Walker Texas Ranger's fucking gun, and you're like, I'm gonna finish this, and you let him out. And he takes your gun.
Wanted to give him a fair fight.
It's so stupid. And like now Texas Marshal guy, Walker, whatever the fuck his name is fucking stuck there with his leg pinned, and it just walks up on him, and he gets shot right in the fucking face. And like you knew it was gonna happen because he says something like, the next time we see you, boy, you better have a nicer disposition or some shit like that. So like you set him up for this fucking failure.
We'll chat again real soon. Maybe next time you'll be better company.
Oh, okay, we didn't talk about that because when he tightens Sean Bean's handcuffs and that whole scene, I liked that a lot.
I like that too.
But yeah, that cop guy never has like a turn. He never becomes, he never, realizes that the chick is on the right call. Like he should have popped the trunk and been like, there's a shotgun in the trunk or something like that, right? There should have been some indication, or the other way, like miss, if you do this, I will not. I'm gonna prosecute you. I'm a witness, some crazy cop shit, right? But he just kind of is in there like, no, please no, don't do that. Like he just has
and like earlier he has a lot better personality, I thought. Like he's like, fuck me with 5 fingers or something.
Five finger fucking me.
Yeah, some shit like that. And I'm like, okay, we got some Southerner enemies riled up.
Son of a bitch! You got 5 finger fucking me.
But then he becomes kind of like a bitch.
There's a point when she's like, we can't stop now, and he says something like, well, why don't you let the cops do their thing, whatever, and like goes, and then like starts kicking punching the wall, like fuck, right? He's all frustrated. Yes, but all that's gone now. He's just nothing. Right?
So he's escaped. He locked her in the fucking thing.
Yes.
Sets the fucking thing on fire. It explodes. The explosion doesn't touch anything inside. It just explodes around it outside, making a thing. Then she reaches through, grabs a shotgun, and you think, oh, she's gonna like shotgun the door so she can escape and stuff. No, she kicks it. It's not little girl kick proof. It's a fucking prison transport. You out of your fucking mind?
It was weakened by the happenings.
Like kicks it and like jumps out, like lands on the door, makes a noise. You hear like ah, and like I'm like, what is happening?
Okay.
And then
what's happening is that the Vehicumancers are like Highlanders.
Yes, it
right?
passed along once.
Yeah, so like Sean Bean wants to die, but he can't. He can't kill himself. This is how it works, right? But he's been like shedding and losing the power. It's kind of like leaking out of him, right?
Okay.
Whereas she's coming into her own, coming of age, coming into this realization that she also has this latent ability, these powers, right? And she's discovering them, and that's what allows her to do these things.
She uses all those powers as if to precision, crack shot, only shoot him in the bulletproof vest.
Yes.
She, like, one whole shot, right to the vest. Another whole shot, right to the vest, other side. And I'm like, okay, she's broke both panels. That's going to be expensive to replace.
At one point, the pattern is so symmetrical that I was like,
what the spells fuck? An H.
Yeah, it's like really weird. I'm like, wait, are those all the pellets? Because that's too like lined up to be right. This must be a mistake.
It's so dumb. So what you do end up with is this ending shot where finally she's wasted her stupid shots in his vest. She's actually gonna end his fucking life now.
Yes.
And like he's smiling. He's kind of like, I've passed it along. You're insane now. Oh, do you feel that? And she says probably the best capper to end any man's life. The last thing any man ever wants to hear. I don't feel a thing. And shoots him in the fucking head.
Feels good, doesn't it?
I don't feel a thing.
Yeah.
And it's such a non-shotgun shot to the head because he's totally still there, you know what I mean?
Because it like punctures through and stuff.
I guess.
Yeah. Maybe they're slugs. Maybe they're not. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, based on the bird shot from the other one.
It's also like a combat shotgun because she shoots like 4 times instead of like 2 or 3 or whatever.
Well, a lot of ones can hold 6, 8, 12.
Yeah. If it's like, and this is like, police issue or whatever.
And just the fact that we're in a southern state.
So we get...
you know that shit.
There's no regulations about shotguns. I guess just to me, like my brain's been warped by living somewhere where civilians can't have shotguns that can just shoot forever. No, it's like a Tarantino shot. It's like from the side, flat, like flat, low, kind of dark against like the light of the background. And she goes pa-pow, and then like the comes out and all that stuff. It's very like artsy looking, whatever. Yeah, I don't feel a thing, right? All she feels is the cold embrace of the machine spirit.
I would argue that would be a thing.
What?
I said I would argue that would be a thing. She feels nothing.
Exactly.
She let it pass right by her.
Yeah.
She's done. She's out of the life now. She's retired.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What happens to this to like the power though?
I expected there to be an after the credit scene. There was not.
Well, Sean Bean comes back. I let the credits play out now just as like a policy, but I was also hoping. I'm like, surely this is not the ending of the movie. Surely there's more here going on. Or like the movie, like, I'm not super pretentious, really, but I do like when a movie's about something, right?
Yeah.
And like to your earlier point, it seems to be about like, don't pick up hitchhikers, don't help anyone, just do your own thing, because there's bad people that never explain themselves. The Hitcher says, you're a smart boy, figure it out. And I'm like, could I figure it out though? Because what the fuck? I don't know what
you could have added some exposition scenes in that, like, we ran his fingerprints, we know who he is, ex-CIA, blah, 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 this and that. But they go like, he's a ghost, we know nothing about him. I'm like, what's the point of that? How does one even become a ghost? Like what?
Yeah, you needed something, and like you didn't really need something, but I feel like a gap there. I feel like something's up, right?
Not that I also kind of hate when it ends and they'd be like your father owed me money or like some stupid shit like that, or like
I targeted you on purpose. It wasn't just exactly.
Like 6 years ago, you ran a red light, killed my daughter, and I'm blah blah. No, like that shit would have made me sick.
The minute I saw you at the gas station, I knew you'd be the one to take my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's horrible.
Yeah. But like overall, for all the things that I hate about this movie, I think the little bits that are really fun are still there. It's an enjoyable experience. If you've never seen any of the Hitcher movies, it's fine. I think if you're going to see any of them, maybe the Rutger Hauer ones are the ones you should go to first. They aren't the same, so you can watch this first and then watch those. It's not a carbon copy of that movie at all.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch the first one. This is a product of its time in these 2000s zone, right? And it's got that punchy look that I am like nostalgic for.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed this. I'd recommend people watch it.
Yeah, the 2000s were a good time for crap. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
They didn't stop!
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.